What's up everyone, this is FP6 bringing you some more Go Battle League videos here in the Ultra League. Thank you all for correcting me on the fact that I made so many slip-ups in the last video. Yeah, it was past midnight and I was very tired. I was saying that we were playing in Great League. I was calling my Gyarados a Giratina. Lots of mistakes to be made. But it is not midnight anymore and we are taking a look at some battles here where I'm using Articuno, Obstagoon, and Escavalier. So, Obstagoon, man. My opinion on this Pokemon is still pretty mixed. I've seen a lot of YouTube videos out there, people talking about how amazing Obstagoon is, and I think it is pretty good. Its moveset is pretty diverse, running counter as the fast move, Night Slash as the charge move, and then most people are opting for Gunk Shot at this point in time, so not necessarily running Cross Chop. Gunk Shot gives you nice coverage against the fairy types, which if you're not running that, you're going to be totally walled, so it is nice to have that. Here's the thing with Obstagoon. The charge moves, you just don't do that much damage. Granted, you are very spammy, so you can apply a lot of shield pressure, and you can burn shields. You can hopefully get the boost with Night Slash. For me personally, I just haven't been overly impressed by the damage output that Obstagoon has been able to output. And I will fully admit, I am not a pro at using Obstagoon at all. I have seen some amazing content creators put up really impressive battles running Obstagoon, and so I think it still is a pretty solid Pokemon. Just for me personally, I need more practice with it, so pretty sure that's why I'm gonna title this video Obstagoon Kinda Rocks. Because he does kind of rock, right? He's looks like a rock star. But yeah, we can kind of see how these battles play out here. I'm going with an Articuno lead and then essentially double fighter or double wannabe fighting types in the back to protect me against Registeel, which is Articuno's worst matchup. You could also consider this team maybe running a Cresselia in the lead. Cresselia is a very safe lead. It has a play. It has play against a lot of Pokemon, even some of its bad matchups, like against Escavalier, that's still playable. Against Giratina, you can go straight Moonblast, and you can just outbulk so many things. But again, Cresselia needs to look out for Registeel. So I have Articuno on Giratina here, which is really great. Just going to go straight Icy Wind. And it is going to debuff the Giratina. Out comes the Registeel. I'm staying in this matchup, and I was going to try to throw an Icy Wind before I got out of there, but I guess I'm just going to sack the Articuno. Kind of a bad play on my part. The thing is, even though Obstagoon in theory counters Registeel, if you're not running Cross Chop, you technically only beat that in the 2-shield, because you're going to get one-shotted by a Focus Blast, which is absolutely insane. So you have to commit shields. I had to save both of my shields for this Obstagoon, which is pretty insane, but I will be able to take this out now. Let me know what you guys think of the background music. Again, I'm having to play like copyright-free music, so I'm like slowly going through a bunch of these playlists and like one by one selecting battles and stuff. One of the comments I got on my most recent video where I was doing live battles is people think that I'm putting these battles in slow motion. I'm not. It's just we have all kind of conditioned ourselves to view these battles sped up. Like these battles, for example, are sped up a decent amount, and all the other YouTubers, they speed up their battles as well. But just be aware that when I'm doing live commentary, you can't speed up live stuff. So I'm going to be able to go for this Night Slash here on this Giratina, which is really good. Takes it out, and out comes Registeel. Obstagoon's barely able to counter it down. Good game. I actually did end up getting one 5-0 set with this team, which is pretty legit. I only got one 5-0, and then from there I've kind of tanked a little bit. I don't know, man. My score is fluctuating all over the place. I'm currently at like 2640 something. Who knows? My score varies from day to day for sure. Articuno on Escavalier, this is a very interesting matchup because all of my ice type moves are hitting for resisted damage. However, these debuffs do add up over time. But I found that a lot of, I don't know, some people with Escavalier, once they get debuffed, they like to switch out and then clear that debuff. But as you can see, I actually had to shield up that first Mega Horn in order to ensure this victory here. So I'm now down a shield, they let it go, and they bring out Giratina. Okay, here's the deal. I bet there's a Togekiss in the back, and this team does really bad against Charmers in the back, especially Togekiss. So as you will see, it is a Togekiss, and I am never fortunate enough to be able to successfully land a gunk shot on these Charmers. So as you will see, it gets shielded up, and then Escavalier does not have much play against Togekiss at all. Yikes. So this is really bad. They're running Ancient Power, and I think they might even end up getting the boost. Or maybe that was one of the matches I played today, but I went up against a Togekiss that got the boost. With these two Pokemon in the back, there was no win scenario. Just for the sake of the video, I'm allowing the match to play out, but we all know I'm totally screwed here. Good game. Charmers in the back, man. The last set of the day that I ran this team, I actually ran 3 games in a row of people running Togekiss in the back, and it really destroyed this line. So I'm constantly having to kind of change and adapt my team and kind of just feel out where the meta is going. Obstagoon is everywhere. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I've seen a lot of people run Obstagoon in the lead. I've seen some people run Obstagoon as a safe swap, which I actually enjoy doing a lot, especially if I'm running Gunk Shot on it. So it looks like in this matchup, I'm going to try to play this out a little bit differently. I barely survived the Mega Horn, and then I'm going to switch it to my own Escavalier. Yeah, it's the same team comp again. Togekiss in the back, and when shields are up, there's just no hope here. Like, even if I were to win out that opening matchup of Articuno against Escavalier, it would just be really, really bad. And then the second that I think that I can predict someone's team comp, let's say if I run into an Escavalier in the lead and I have my Articuno in there, I could instantly switch into my own Escavalier, and then maybe they'd to bait out the Togekiss there. But every time I try to anticipate someone's team comp, they don't seem to have the Pokemon in the back that I think that they do. So then I totally get screwed. Do they get the boost here? No. I'm going to be able to throw an Icy Wind on this Togekiss, but of course they shield, and of course I have Obstagoon in the back, and their Escavalier honestly just needs to hit a Mega Horn and maybe even a Drill Run at that point. I get the boost here, which is kind of hilarious, and then I'm able to land this Night Slash, which will be able to take out the Togekiss, but this Obstagoon has been so shredded. It was a Giratina in the back as well. Like, I actually had a decent amount of play here if I would have been able to bait out that Togekiss a little bit sooner. So, hindsight was always 20/20. Next time I'm running this line and I see an Escavalier in the lead, I should instantly switch into my own Escavalier to try to bait out a possible Togekiss. So, good game. Articuno into Giratina. This is a great lead for me. Every time I see this lead, I always need to keep in mind that my own Escavalier needs to avoid this. So this is very interesting. I've actually encountered this a lot where people will stay in with their Giratina in this matchup. And I should more quickly identify that this means they have something in the back that is weak to Articuno. So here, because I'm slow to the switch, I'm just going to throw the Icy Wind here. Questionable play, and then I'm staying in here even longer. I'm trying to catch a Mega Horn on my Escavalier, but people in these, 26, 2700 range, they're too smart, man. It's so hard to sack swap on people in this range. Again, let me know if you like this new layout. It is a little cleaner looking, but I'm not gonna lie, it takes me a little bit longer to edit these things now. I need to develop a slightly more efficient system with this, but I do like how it looks. Out comes the Giratina again. Because I was so slow to the swap, my Escavalier is stuck in here. Not good. Drill Run is just barely not enough to take out this Giratina, and then it will go down. However, I can bring out anything to farm. I'll bring out Articuno just to not reveal my Obstagoon. I want Escavalier to come back out, and it does really good for me. I'm totally fine with letting my Articuno go here. Gonna bring out Obstagoon now and counter down the Escavalier. Another Togekiss in the back, but it makes sense, right? We knew that my opponent was kind of staying in that opening matchup. Therefore, they had something weak to Articuno in the back. They had Togekiss. But shame on me for not identifying that sooner, and I'm not going to be able to take this out. Isn't it crazy to see how many people ran Togekiss in the back when I was running this team, though? Pretty interesting, right? This team really struggles against Charmers in the back, so it's really up to me to try to bait out that Charmer a little bit sooner. Another freaking Escavalier lead. This is like, it's not a good scenario for Articuno. There is an argument to be made. Maybe I could throw an Icy Wind and then switch into my own Escavalier. The best possible scenario, I think the most ideal scenario is if my Articuno, or if my own Escavalier were to catch a Mega Horn on a debuffed Escavalier. I think that'd be the best scenario there, but... So now I give up switch advantage here, and I try to farm down their Escavalier, but they preserve it. Out comes Giratina. Not good at all. It's also a Shadow Claw Giratina, and so the damage is really adding up. This is most likely just a Dragon Claw, and then they're going to farm me down. Really smart play by my opponent, trying to get every little bit of energy advantage when possible. So, really good play there. And I get farmed down. Not good at all. My Articuno is out of energy and low health, if I remember correctly. So I'm going to bring out Obstagoon. Because this is a Shadow Claw Giratina, I triple resist. Oh, out comes Escavalier. I'm able to counter it down. So this leads me to believe, oh, they must have had Reggie in the back. This is where this team is kind of nice. If they are running a Reggie in the back, once they get rid of your Escavalier or they get rid of your Obstagoon, they think they're in the clear, and then you're like, yo, what's up? I got another counter there. But again, like, saving Obstagoon for the end, not sure how I feel about that, because it can't handle Reggie, especially if I'm not running Cross Chop. It needs shields to be able to handle Reggie, which is unfortunate. So this Articuno Cresselia matchup, if you don't get debuffed and you shield up the first charge move, it's actually pretty decent for you. But of course I got debuffed on the very first Moonblast there, so this is not good at all. I'm actually going to end this matchup down a shield, I believe, and lose the lead. So it's like a really terrible scenario. I get debuffed again. I think that's either the second or third time that Articuno gets debuffed. Cresselia is crazy broken with the Moonblast debuff. But I've heard arguments on both sides of the table, right? Like, I think Moonblast should only be a 10% debuff chance, but then people argue, it's like, what about the other Pokemon that have Moonblast? Like, they should still have a good move chance, and while I do see the point to that, I think a 10% chance would just be a little bit more reasonable. I've seen some people argue that moves that have an 100% debuff chance, like Icy Wind, are overpowered, but honestly, with Icy Wind, like, you know you're gonna get debuffed. With Moonblast, the fact that it's 30%, even though it feels like it occurs a little bit more frequently than that, I don't know. I don't know. There's arguments on both sides of the table. Personally, I think if it was at 10%, it'd be a little bit more balanced, but because the DPE of Moonblast, like the damage per energy, is already ridiculously high. It's already such a really strong move, and then the fact that it has a relatively high debuff chance just kind of makes it a little bit overpowered. But Obstagoon against Gyarados, this is totally fine for me, but I'm going to switch into my Escavalier to throw this Mega Horn. Escavalier against Gyarados is actually also a pretty decent matchup, just because the counter damage is so strong, and even though it's resisted, you do resist the Dragon Breath, and the Crunch will only be hitting for neutral. So it's a Giratina in the back, which is not good. They are up in shields. I really want to get this drill run off, but most likely my opponent is just going to Shadow Claw me down, which is the correct play. Really good play on their part. It looks like I might be able to win based on the timer here, but now most likely not. They're going to hit this Dragon Claw, and it's barely going to get me lower health, but they still had a shield, so they're going to win this anyways. Good game. Articuno against Swampert. Okay, this is another one of those matchups where you only solidly win if you shield up the first Hydro Cannon. Because if you start shielding up later Hydro Cannons, you're essentially kind of wasting that shield because those are the debuffed Hydro Cannons. So it's very unfortunate that you have to like go down a shield in the lead, but it did force my opponent to swap. I'm going to let this move go through, and now I can bring out S-Cavalier to counter this thing down. Another thing to take note of is that since my Obstagoon is not running Cross Chop, I would lose the mirror match. So that is something to be aware of. I'm going to counter down that entire Obstagoon, which is really good for me. Oh my gosh, it's another Togekiss in the back. But we are more prepared this time. My Obstagoon is going to be able to avoid this. I'm going to get a last second drill run off. Both drill run and Mega Horn are double resisted on Togekiss, but we were able to do half health there, which is great. We are down in shields. We know there's a Swampert in the back. I need to bring out my Articuno. It has loaded energy, which is really great. Most likely going to start getting shields off, which again is very good for me. Out comes that Swampert again. I got to get Obstagoon on this thing as quickly as possible because Obstagoon has zero play against Togekiss. But at this point, I've essentially already fully committed that I'm saving my shield for Articuno. I don't want to get hit by an Ancient Power. It would be double super effective. And Articuno is definitely going to be my key to victory here. So you see, I go for no bubbles here because I want to be able to counter this thing down and then throw a Night Slash to get some more chip damage off on the Togekiss. Every little bit helps, especially since I'm going to have to KO this thing with my fast moves. Okay, it looks like my opponent just gave up here. So I'm just going to throw another Night Slash, and at this point I'm just going to bring out my Articuno to take him out, and then they leave the game. Good game. Man, it's like a hair on my face or something. Okay, another Giratina lead. This is really good for me. Now, because they instant switch out, it's pretty unlikely that they have something that's weak to Articuno in the back. Oh man, but this Obstagoon gets the boost, so I can't stay in here and counter this thing down. Let's see if they want to shield this. They do want to shield this up. I will commit a shield and be able to counter them down and maintain switch advantage. That's very important. Just because you win the lead does not mean that you win the game. You need to ensure that you win that secondary matchup to maintain proper alignment with your Pokemon there. Able to get Drill Run off, just some last second chip damage there. That's super nice. Going to bring out my Articuno. Don't want to reveal Obstagoon yet, and it is a Registeel in the back. Okay, so check this out. I don't actually know if I win this matchup, because what you're going to see, Obstagoon is not the best Regi counter. I'm actually staying in here because I want this Registeel to dump its energy. Now I can bring out Obstagoon, but even then, I think when a Registeel has been debuffed once, Obstagoon barely survives Focus Blast. Like barely. It puts it in like lock-on range. Okay, my opponent successfully baits me. Really good play on their part. This is very scary. I know the Focus Blast is going to be coming through. Oh yeah, I think I do actually end up losing this match, because this is like barely out of Ice Shard farm range, if I remember correctly. Yeah, look, Focus Blast takes me out even though I've been debuffed. My only play here is to farm this down, and it's not able to happen. Oh man. Oh man, that was so rough. Obstagoon just barely did not pack enough of a punch to take out that Regi. Good game. Articuno mirror match. I am rocking Ancient Power, but most of the time I just go straight for Icy Wind here. I actually don't shield up this first Icy Wind, which is a pretty bold move. I notice that I'm losing CMP here, so no matter what, I'm going to lose this mirror match. Probably should have went for Ancient Power there. But again, hindsight is 2020, and I didn't actually know that I was going to lose CMP. So now I'm going to bring out my Escavalier. Possibly could have brought out Obstagoon. They are staying in here and farming up so much energy, and look what they're going to do. Why did I not shield? It's obviously a Hurricane. What the heck am I doing? Oh, really bad on my part. Out comes Swampert. So I should have recognized the fact that they were staying in there, again, like leads me to believe whatever they have in the back is going to be weak to my Escavalier. So I'm anticipating that it is a Reggie in the back. And if that is the case, I need to save both shields for Obstagoon to ensure a victory. If they had a Togekiss, they would have brought it out on my Escavalier. I have stored energy on my Articuno. This is really great. They're probably going to let Swampert go down. They do, and it is a Cresselia. So I'm going to throw this Icy Wind. And then I have plenty of options here. It can stay in here and make Cresselia dump its energy, but I'm saving both shields for Obstagoon, and Obstagoon is for sure going to be able to take this. It's going to be a pretty long conclusion to this game here, but hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you like these Go Battle League videos. Man, let me know what you think of Obstagoon. Again, it only has kind of worked for me. I still need to figure out some team comps with it, but yeah, let me know what you think of Obstagoon. You can kind of just watch these battles play out and let the background music soothe you. Make sure to check me out on Twitch at some point. My link to the channel will be down there in the description. We're trying to bring all of you YouTube viewers over to the Twitch community. Man, we have a lot of fun over there. You get to hang out with me in real time and watch me battle, and you even get the chance to battle with me pretty frequently. I do viewer battles all the time, so make sure to check me out on Twitch. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.